everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something I know a lot of you have been asking about, uh, the Virgin Mary, or Theotokos, in Orthodox Christianity,
Okay.
and specifically why she's just so important in this tradition.
Yeah.
We've got a great article from an Orthodox Christian website that's going to help us unpack all this.
Cool.
And just skimming it, I was so fascinated.
Yeah.
Did you know that even the title Theotokos itself isn't just like a name, it's a whole theological statement?
Oh, it absolutely is. And that statement,
Yeah.
it gets right to the heart of how Orthodox Christians view Mary. But to understand it, we have to start with like a core concept in Orthodox Christianity, and that's the Incarnation.
Okay, so the Incarnation, so we're talking about God becoming human.
Literally, yes, in the person of Jesus Christ.
Okay, so that's huge, God becoming human.
Well-
Where does Mary fit into all of this?
Well, she is absolutely central. You see, in Orthodox Christianity, Mary wasn't simply just a vessel. She was an active participant in God's plan. And her yes to becoming the mother of Jesus was an act of just immense faith.
Yeah.
It made the Incarnation possible.
So she wasn't just chosen, she made a choice too.
Exactly.
That adds a whole other layer to the story.
It does, and that's actually where the title Theotokos comes in, which means God-bearer.
Okay.
And it signifies that Mary didn't just give birth to a human baby, she gave birth to God incarnate.
Wow.
And so this reinforces the belief that Jesus is both fully God and fully human, which is, a crucial idea in Orthodox Christianity.
So for someone in the Orthodox faith, understanding who Mary is means understanding something fundamental about Jesus himself.
Precisely, and that is why Mary is given such a high level of reverence in the Orthodox Church.
Okay, I can see how for some people outside of this tradition that might be a little bit difficult to understand.
Sure.
It might seem like a lot of emphasis on one person. So how would you respond to that?
Well, it's important to remember that for Orthodox Christians, honoring Mary isn't about worshiping her.
Right.
It's about recognizing her unique role in salvation history and her incredible faith, which serves as a model for all believers.
Okay.
But her story doesn't end there. Orthodox Christians also see her as the new Eve.
New Eve. Okay, now I'm intrigued. What is that all about?
Well, it's a powerful analogy. Eve's disobedience in the Garden of Eden is seen as bringing sin into the world.
Right.
But Mary's obedience, her willingness to say yes to God, brought forth the Savior. And so it's this beautiful image of redemption,
Oh, wow.
of turning away from sin and turning toward God.
So it's like Mary reverses the course set by Eve.
Yes, exactly.
That's a pretty powerful comparison.
It is, and this concept of Mary as the new Eve, combined with her role in the Incarnation and her unwavering faith, make her a model of holiness and devotion.
So it's not just about who she was, it's about what she represents. Okay, so we've got this incredibly important theological figure, the Theotokos, who's also held up as this, example of faith. Is there more to her importance in the Orthodox faith?
Oh, absolutely. There's the idea of her intercessory power, her role as a symbol of the church, and even more.
Oh.
But maybe we should save those for later.
Okay, you've definitely got me hooked. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back to dive even deeper into why Mary is so central to Orthodox Christianity. Okay, so we're back, and we're ready to kind of keep going with the Virgin Mary's significance in Orthodox Christianity.
Right.
You mentioned before the break her intercessory power.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's the belief that because of her unique relationship with Jesus, Mary can intercede on behalf of believers,
Okay.
bringing their prayers and needs before God.
So it's like you could pray to God directly, or you could ask Mary to pray for you.
That's the idea.
Okay.
Orthodox Christians believe she has a special closeness to Jesus and that her prayers carry extra weight, so to speak.
I see. I can see how that would be comforting. Having someone like Mary on your side advocating for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's why praying to Mary for help, protection, or guidance, that's a common practice in Orthodox Christianity.
It is.
It's interesting how all these different aspects of Mary, like the Theotokos, the new Eve, her intercessory power, they all come together to paint this really rich picture of who she is in the faith.
Yeah.
But you also said earlier that she's seen as a symbol of the church itself.
Yes.
I have to admit that one really caught my attention.
It's a fascinating aspect of how Orthodox Christians understand both Mary and the church.
Okay.
Think of it this way. Mary's virtues, her humility, her obedience, her unwavering faith, these are qualities that the church itself strives to embody.
Okay, so if Mary represents these ideals and she's a symbol of the church, that means the church is supposed to embody those ideals too.
Precisely. Just as Mary brought Christ into the world, the church is called to bring Christ to the world through its actions, its teachings, and how it serves others.
So for someone in the Orthodox faith, understanding Mary's role can actually give them a deeper understanding of the church's purpose and how they fit within it.
That's a great point. It's about recognizing this connection between Mary and the church and striving to live out those virtues in one's own life.
So we've talked about why Mary is so important,
Yes.
but I'm also curious about how this reverence is actually expressed in the daily lives and practices of Orthodox Christians.
Oh, her presence is woven into their worship and traditions in so many ways.
Okay.
Through the prayers, they say the icons. They venerate the hymns they sing.
Okay, let's start with prayer.
Okay.
We touched on the idea of Mary as an intercessor.
Yeah.
Could you expand on how that plays out in Orthodox prayer specifically?
Of course, there are many specific prayers dedicated to Mary, often asking for her protection, guidance, and comfort.
Okay.
You might find people praying to her before making a big decision, or seeking her support during times of hardship, or simply expressing their gratitude for her presence in their lives.
You also mentioned that icons of Mary are common in homes.
They are.
What kind of impact do you think that has on people's daily lives and spiritual practice?
Well, icons in the Orthodox tradition are more than just images. They're seen as windows into the divine, a way to connect with sacred figures.
Okay.
And so having an icon of Mary in your home serves as this constant visual reminder of her presence, her virtues, and her role in the faith.
I see.
It can be a source of comfort, inspiration, a focal point for prayer.
So it's not just about admiring a beautiful image, it's about inviting Mary into your personal space and daily life.
Exactly. And icons of Mary often depict her holding the Christ child,
Okay.
emphasizing her role as the Theotokos, the mother of God.
Right.
And so this visual reinforces that essential theological point we talked about earlier.
It's amazing how art can serve as this tangible link to such profound ideas.
It is.
Now, what about hymns? How does Mary figure into the music of the Orthodox Church?
There's a rich tradition of hymns dedicated to Mary in Orthodox Christianity.
Oh.
These hymns often praise her virtues, recount key moments from her life, and emphasize her role in salvation history.
Wow.
They're a beautiful and moving expression of devotion, and they play a significant role in liturgical services and personal prayer.
So through prayer icons and hymns, Orthodox Christians are constantly reminded of Mary's importance and her role in their faith.
Yes, and these are just a few examples. Her influence permeates many aspects of Orthodox life and tradition.
Okay.
From the naming of churches to the celebration of specific feast days dedicated to her, it truly is a rich and multifaceted devotion.
This has been so insightful. I feel like I'm starting to grasp just how deeply woven Mary is into the fabric of Orthodox Christianity.
Right?
It's more than just a single belief, it's an entire worldview shaped by her presence.
It's remarkable, isn't it, how a single figure can have such a profound and lasting impact on a faith tradition.
It really is, and I have a feeling we've still got more to uncover. Should we take another quick break before we wrap up this fascinating deep dive? Okay, so we're back, and I'm still thinking about how Mary is just so deeply intertwined with the Orthodox faith. It's amazing to see how one person can inspire this whole rich tradition.
It really speaks to the power of faith
Hmm.
and the human need to connect with the divine. And I think, we've only just scratched the surface. There's
Right.
so much more to explore when it comes to Mary and Orthodox Christianity.
I bet we could probably do a whole series of deep dives just on this topic, but I think for today we've covered a lot of ground. What's one key takeaway that you would want our listener to remember about Mary's place in Orthodox Christianity?
Well, I think the most important thing to understand is that for Orthodox Christians, Mary isn't just a figure from the past. She's a living presence.
Okay.
She's someone they turn to for comfort, guidance, and intercession. She's a model of faith, a symbol of the church, and a reminder of God's love for all of us.
That's a great point. She's not just an idea or a concept. She's an active force in their lives. And it makes me think about those icons we were talking about earlier. It's not just a picture on the wall. It's a way to connect with this powerful figure.
Exactly. Her story is woven into the very fabric of their faith, shaping their understanding of God, of themselves, and even of the world around them.
This has been an incredibly enriching conversation. I feel like I have a much deeper understanding of what Mary represents and why she's so revered in Orthodox Christianity.
Me too. It's always so rewarding to delve into these topics and uncover the layers of meaning and significance.
Thinking about Mary as a model of faith reminds me of a time when I was going through a really tough period in my own life, and I didn't even grow up in the Orthodox tradition, but I remember seeing this painting of Mary in a museum, and there was something about her expression, this kind of quiet strength and peace that really resonated with me.
It's amazing how art can speak to us on such a deep level, even across different cultures and beliefs.
It really is. And it made me think about the power of faith, not just in a religious sense, but the power of belief, of hope, of trusting in something beyond yourself. And for Orthodox Christians, Mary embodies that in such a profound way.
It makes you realize how these seemingly ancient stories and traditions can still be so relevant to our lives today.
Absolutely. So, to leave you with something to ponder, we've talked about Mary as this symbol of the church, right?
Yes.
If she embodies the church's virtues and its mission, how do you think that should influence the way all of us live our life and interact with the world around us?
That's a fantastic question. It challenges us to consider how we can embody those same qualities, humility, obedience, faith, compassion, and a deep connection to something larger than ourselves. Whether or not we subscribe to any particular faith tradition, those are qualities that can inspire us all to be better, more loving, and more connected to the world around us.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that we're all part of something bigger, something interconnected, just like Mary's story is connected to the story of Jesus, to the story of the church. We're all part of this larger human story.
It's a beautiful thought.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Orthodox Christianity and the Virgin Mary.
Hmm.
We hope you learned something new and that it sparked your own reflections on faith belief and the power of human connection.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you. Until next time.